Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Am I right? This was kind of cool. Like episode 4, and all of a sudden we get pretty much all the explanation that we need. We are completely up to date currently, right now. That's pretty wicked. Couple questions here, like who are all those people that they named? Because they're nobody special from the Marvel universe. They're nobody special from the cast. It's just really weird to see something like that, right? Maybe there was a name that slipped by me. I didn't quite figure out what they're going on, but I literally went back and paused, went back and paused, went back and paused every single time that they said a name in this show. For crying out loud, Director Haywood, I looked it up and I didn't realize the spelling of the name was off, but originally I'm like, oh, okay. Wait, that's the guy from the freaking thing with the stuff, right? The She-Hulk, Volume 2, Issue number 1, when the one where she's got the scales of justice hanging up. There's a Judge Haywood that appears in several issues, and the very cool thing about that is Time Variance Authority is there, like justice, love, justice, peace, and it's like, wait, really? So this is going to bleed over into Loki? And I thought, that's perfect, but completely different spelling. So I'm like, they suck. Our Rebella, sorry you couldn't be here. Wow, that's some really cool stuff there. Something moody, I think. Anyway, what's going on? Raven, good day. How you doing, brother? Justin Anya, just getting home from work. Well, does that mean that you saw the television episode? Because I'm saying. So this was amazing because we get right at the beginning. The first thing that happens on this episode is blip. Like, wow. What's up, Tommy? Um, we get the blip immediately, and somehow this like 2 minutes that they spent on the blip was more interesting than anything that we saw on Spider-Man Home or Far From Home. Sorry, I know it's like near and dear to a bunch of people, but like the that stuff was like, dealing with stuff a little bit and kind of sanitized. This was just like, let's just go right into the raw of it. People are coming back right now, bumping heads, knocking people on the ground. Where's my mother? All this crazy stuff, and it's wild. And literally the last really fun memories for this person, for Monica Rambeau, was actually from the movie. Think about, did you guys notice that right in the beginning when Monica was reforming after the blip? She comes back. Okay, so she was blipped. Wow, that's interesting. She's already an adult, but she comes back. She's the same age because remember, in the blip, you don't age that 5 years that you were gone. Her mother died from cancer 3 years ago. That was 2 years after she disappeared. She was still sitting there at the bedside, and like there's an empty bed and it's made and everything. It's like, what? She runs out. What's going on? And everybody's like, we don't have the capacity. Everybody's coming back. He's like, well, I guess I'm coming back. Who's coming back? And the confusion is amazing. The one person shows up and it's like, and I loved it. I loved it. It was great. The last thing that she remembers, if you guys were watching with the captions on, you can actually hear it and see that it was Captain Marvel, right? It was Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, when she was like, when they were handing out kids, you got the toughest one of them all. And oh, great, look, it's Lieutenant Trouble. I love that. She's a captain now, just like you. All right. Holy crap, this was amazing. We see her later on. She's going to go and meet up with Director Haywood. She goes and hangs out with him. Her card doesn't work. If you worked here, then your card would work, right? Well, that was kind of mean, but he's a security guard. I understand. I'm going to get more into the mean stuff in a minute. Monica, right away, she starts putting on a front of, hey, I'm large and I'm in charge, and boom, boom, boom. I could kind of understand a lot of what was going on, but I don't feel like you have to be. There's a thing with Marvel that I kind of wonder. They always, when they want to show a strong woman, they always seem to just show a woman who's a bitch. And it's like that the two terms are not synonymous. In fact, I always find it lacking when somebody acts like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a little triggering for me because I have somebody who's acting like that in the class that I'm in right now, and everybody's removing themselves from the group right now because they don't want to be with her. So it is what it is. Like, that's what happens when you act like that. It doesn't matter how smart this girl might be, the smartest person in the class. She might actually be better at this than me, but we're like, dude, your attitude unnecessary. So we gone. Guys, I will get to the comments as soon as I'm finished with this. I absolutely promise. I always do, but got to stay focused on this just for now to get this out. So she leaves, and she's not the only, and she's only acting like that a little bit while. It's later when you start seeing it really bad, and it's like this almost makes the character completely unlikable, which she was already unlikable. The other one, I'm going to get there. Um, she goes and she meets up with Agent Jimmy Woo, Jimmy E. Woo. Okay, cool. He talks about how he liked Elliot Ness. You guys remember the movie Untouchables? That was Elliot Ness, the guy who's trying to stop the Untouchables. Anyway, based on a true story. All right, so whatever. They try to send a drone in. Oh, that was the colored helicopter with the sword thing on it. That wasn't just a toy helicopter, that was a drone. Holy crap. Okay, I get it now. That is really cool. I dig that. So all the little things were actually not just stuff that, like hints of portents of something to come. No, it's actually stuff from the outside world, outside of town. Those two cops were sitting there talking about Westville doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about. Where are you from? We're from Eastville. Okay. Meanwhile, the sign for Westville is right over their left shoulders. I'm sorry, was that just not like the greatest gaslighting going? That was great. And that's probably what those guys, that's probably what Wu and Rambeau thought that they were doing too. That was wild, man. That was great. Oh, man. Oh, did anybody notice the nickname, the call name for Monica Rambeau? Excuse me, for Mary Rambeau, her mom Marie. For Marie Rambeau was Photon. I think that's perfect because Monica Rambeau, when she first started out, was Captain Marvel. That's where they gave the name to. That was the first Captain Marvel that I was ever introduced to as a kid. So she's always, like nostalgia purpose, she's always going to be my Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers is freaking epic, but yeah, I'm going to call her Captain Marvel. But that was my first Captain Marvel. You know what I'm saying? What do you call it? But then she got a name change. Al Ewing changed her name to Spectrum. So currently she's called Spectrum. When she gets her powers, hopefully she gets her powers in the MCU, she should be called Spectrum. But she had a different name in between there. What was that? Oh, yeah, it was Photon. Nobody liked that name. Nobody liked that name. But I do like that name for her mother. So that was actually really cool. I love that they did that. Easter egg smacked right upside of our heads. I love that. Guys, this was really freaking cool. I loved this. Now, here's some stuff that really confused me. S.W.O.R.D, sentient, in the comic books, it's Sentient World Observation Response Division. In the MCU, in the show that we just watched, instead of Sentient World, it's Sentient Weapon Observation Response System. Now, according to Monica, there was never a response division or excuse me, observation response. There was nothing like that. It was creation. So Sentient Weapon Creation Division, S.W.C.D. I'm not exactly sure where they were going with that. They left it a little bit ambivalent, which is fine as long as they come back to that. Maybe it was something that I just straight up missed. Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. Um, Darcy Lewis shows up, and here's where we're gonna get into the real bitch aspect. You know, you don't have to like Marvel, message to Marvel, a PSA, all right? Like from my heart. You can make a strong woman who knows what she's doing, who's confident, blah, 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 who's not acting like a bitch. And Darcy, when we saw her in the first two Thor movies, she was not, she was fun, but she was a ditz. And it's like nobody really liked the character. It's like you're just getting in the way of things and you're not acting that smart. Here, well, at least I don't know if she's the smartest person in the room. Director Haywood showed that he's pretty damn smart also, but she is pretty smart, right? And she gets a bunch of things, but she just acts like that. And it's like, there's no need for you to act like that. It's so narcissistic. When you act like that, you're telling everybody what you think of them. And it's like, I don't even know you. And oh, gee, you're not going to help me pick this thing up. Why should I help you pick things up? You're a bitch and you don't think much of me. You're not going to get me coffee. Why should I get you coffee? You're a bitch and you're mean to me. Like, hello. I really hope that they address that, and I hope that they really give her some actual character development instead of just saying, well, she was a ditz in the previous two, so we'll make her a bitch in this one. No, that's not character development. That's just weak writing for a strong character. If they go back later on and they say, hey, look, she actually feels bad about the way she's treating people. It's just she doesn't have a lot of confidence. Okay, cool. I'm down with that. Love the idea, right? Let's go with that. But yeah, like her treating people like they're stupid all the time. This is not Great writing. Anyway, the names that they gave right away, Todd and Sean Davis, Abhilash Tandon, Harry Copter, I told you I wrote all these things down, Isabella Matsueda, and John Collins. Like I said, I couldn't find anything for those names. I couldn't find a thing for them. But anyway, so they're doing this observation reporting. She figures out that you got to use a, what the heck is it called? Those old with the color cables in the back. I can't even remember what those old school televisions are called. Obviously, I had one. I had a black and white television when I was younger too. So I'm old. I'm old. I'm 45. I'm old. But she figured if I can get one of those and then switch up the device a little bit, or really just open up the rabbit ears, the antennas and whatnot. Maybe use a wrench. Not a wrench, a pair of pliers, and change the channel to channel 3, UHF, VHF. Maybe I can actually get this television station. So she's able to actually tap in and she gets it. There's long wave television over top of the short waves. RCA cable, RCA cables, no, or the CRT TV. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, the RCA cables are the red, white, which is the two audio, left and right, and then the yellow, which is the video. Nice one though. DJ Nightmare, I haven't seen you forever. What's going on, dude? You still scratching tables overseas? But anyway, I got to stop looking at the comments. So you had this old box television, and she figures stuff out, and they're sitting there watching these television episodes and whatnot. You got to assume that there's a lot of these episodes, but nonetheless, every time something happens, she gets moved. I feel like she's getting moved, or she's progressing further, along. Obviously, once you get to the year 2020, that's when, all of a sudden, boop, or 2021, whatever, all of a sudden, boop, it's like that's when the time continuous is going to be maybe a time variance right now, because of Loki. Anyway, I just keep on thinking somehow this is going to delve into Loki. I'm thinking way ahead of Doctor Strange. So this is really cool. She's trying to figure stuff out. Now we understand where all of these names, or where all these words are coming from the radio. It's like, oh, when she goes over there, we could tap into them. You could talk into them. Wanda, who's doing this to you? Like, now all of a sudden, all these things make sense. They make perfect sense. I love this. We get to see exactly what happened afterwards with with Monica, when she's like, you don't belong here. When you see Wanda doing this and there's like pink stuff all over the place, it's like, I'm about to get Thanos. Oh my God. Everybody sits there and thinks it's like when Thanos does this, everybody's in trouble. When Wanda does this, it's your ass. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know you. You will. You don't belong here. It's like, oh my God. I love that, dude. That was great. Oh man. Yeah, bro. So she gets booted out. She starts waking up. We're going to find out what happens, hopefully, from this point on. Meanwhile, we get bumped into the 70s, because all of a sudden we got Voodoo Child, parentheses, slight return, Jimi Hendrix. And right away, I'm sitting there like, oh, yeah, man, stand up next to a mountain, bam, 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 chop it down with the edge of my hand. I loved this, dude. So seeing where that's going to go, digging on all this stuff. When she turns around after the whole, like when she's reminded of the Ultron, she's reminded of her dead brother. She's reminded of all this stuff. She turns around. She's also reminded that Vision is dead too, because she sees the big hole in his head when it was like, yeah, I kind of want that gem. Thank you. Oh my God. And she just, okay, wipe it all away. Look at her correcting her psyche as things go on. We see now who the beekeeper was, like where that actually came from. It's all starting to make sense. Oh, and I'm glad they did this with an episode 4, because we get these first 2 episodes at the same time. It's like black and white's kind of weird. Okay, they turned it, color. Okay, yay. So we got to see color then in the 3rd episode. And it's like, okay, yeah, cool, yay. But can we find out what's going on? Until the very end, it was a little weird. And now I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I kind of want to go back to the episodic shows, because I missed those. Those were actually fun. Can we just see Bettany and Olsen just doing these shows, these sitcoms now? Because oh man, I'm going to miss not seeing those anymore. I think I'm going to go back, and those are going to be basically my favorite episodes now. Granted, I love figuring out what's happening, but those were so fun. So this episode, bruh, everything was just catching up and bringing us up to, we're all at not point zero, but essentially point zero. So now if we go on and episode 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so there's only 5 episodes left, but if we go on to episode 5, now we're going to be starting from scratch where there's new things that they could teach us or confuse us with, and we could try and figure them out as we go. I'm digging on that. Let's start checking out some of these comments, y'all. Silent Night, freaking out, but I love the episode. There were a lot of freak out moments in here. Can't believe I'm still up, but I'm going to pay for it. My body will shut down soon. Thomas, you'll be okay, man. I'm telling you, you'll be all right. What's up, Sue Ann? How you doing? Everybody's coming back. Maria founded S.W.O.R.D. That was cool. Yes, I dig on that. I dig on stuff like that. I also dig the moment there where it was like a beautiful mother-daughter moment from beyond the grave, where she's just like, what do you call it? Why am I grounded? It was a program that your mother implemented. Yeah, that's the bad news. The good news is she believed that you were coming back, and it's like, oh man, what a way to just choke somebody up. And it's like he doesn't. Agent Haywood didn't have to convince her of anything else from that point. It's like, you're grounded. I'm gonna fight this tooth and nail. Your mother said to do it because she figured you were coming back. Okay, I'll accept it. Pull the mama card. Angelo Johnson. The writing for this show is the way everything is unfolding is spectacular. Agreed. 100% agreed. Yeah, talking to each other. Yeah. Are you reading Maestro World War? No, I'm not reading that. I'd said in the previous issues that I wasn't going to read those. Did I really want to watch Wandavision, but I'm making myself wait till payday to renew my subscription to Disney. Oh man, yeah, I hear you. And you know what? It'll be fine to do that by the end because what do you call it? When episode 9 comes out, or at least that month, so this way you can just binge them all. You know what I'm saying? By the way, stop being here. Stop being here because stuff. All right, like spoilers. What's your theory on why? Oh, yeah. What's your theory on why Wanda's doing this? Just so she can spend time with Vision, knowing he's gone. Excuse me. A lot of this is supposed to be based off of the House of M. So yes, it is spending time with him. I think it's also going to be spending time with her sons. Well, obviously, it's going to be her spending time with her sons. You know, she wants to spend time with these created children. I don't know if it has anything to do with Mephisto. I strongly doubt it, guys. I'm sorry. Like, if all of a sudden Mephisto shows up at the end of this, okay, wow, interesting. I think it's going to be Nightmare though instead, because remember, this does bleed into Doctor Strange Part 2. So I have the feeling it's going to be Nightmare instead of Mephisto. I'm 100% fine with that because the Mephisto thing has to be like this gnarly, amazing, big thing where it's like, oh, that's devilish, literally, pun intended. And I didn't expect that. And that's exactly what I want to see. I have a feeling Pietro's going to come back too, Quicksilver, because like she's trying to undo all the hurt. She's trying to compensate. I know there's a lot of people who are going to say, I hate Wanda because she's doing all this stuff to people, but that would be like saying, I hate this kid because he or she is lashing out because he doesn't understand what's going on. Or I hate this person with, severe mental development problems because it's making my life miserable, and why can't he or she just be normal because I need my life to go on. It's like, bro, these are people who can't help it. Likewise, Scarlet Witch is a character who she can't help it, and she literally has the ability to all of her potentially schizophrenic pathologies that happen. She has the ability to change them instantly, and she doesn't even think that she's changing them right away. She doesn't understand necessarily that she's changing them because it's her mentality. It's what she knows. She still doesn't know how to use her powers as well as she'd like to. And in here, she's not a mutant, so she didn't have this whole time to know, what she always was. So cool episode, but I wanted to see my 80s shows. Yeah, I don't blame you. I think she's manipulated by someone. It might be. The art chemist, what's going on? Just the show, bro. How about you? I felt as though this episode was short. I wanted more. Exactly. 35 minutes, which is technically more like 28. The show, well, there was a lot to it. You can go back and watch it, and there was a whole lot happening, a whole lot of explanation. It's just it didn't have too much, initially to do with Wanda and the sitcom, because there was all the explanations. Go back and watch, you'll see it was actually pretty long, because I had to go back a couple times to look at it. That's why I did this an hour later. I enjoyed watching the results of the blip. That was cool. I want to see more of the impact of that event of the world. Uh, if they had show if they had a show based solely on that, I would love it. Yeah, agreed. I would definitely enjoy watching something like that. Just Blip TV or whatever, and they just went on with some people trying to get on with it, whatever. I don't know if maybe a whole season would be good. Why wouldn't they just consider doing that with some of the smaller characters? You know what I'm saying? I think that could be a whole lot of fun. Um, as a Krakoan patriot, I'm conditioned to hate Wanda. Oh, geez, here we go. And remember, it's because of S.W.O.R.D and the Empire that all that stuff is going to change. That's just way too freaking funny. I love that. Well, I am at the bottom of the comments, my peeps. So I hope that you guys enjoy the show. I don't want to make this episode as long as the show, so I will talk to you guys later. Go back and watch it again. Again, the rewatchability on all of these episodes is going to be out of this world, just like S.W.O.R.D was originally supposed to be. Talk to you guys later. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.